Is this cheating? You won't believe what happened. The chipped mug warmed my hands, but not my soul. Another Monday. Another commute. Another day pretending everything was fine. Mark was already gone when I woke, a post-it stuck to the coffee maker. Late meeting. Dinner on your own. Standard. We used to have dinner together. We used to talk. We used to, well, you get the picture. Now it was like living with a highly efficient, emotionally stunted roommate. My job, graphic design for a mid-sized marketing firm, was my only real solace. It was creative, challenging, and recently interesting. That was thanks to David. David started 3 weeks ago. He was a breath of fresh air in our sterile, open-plan office. He got my terrible jokes. He understood my obsession with fonts. He saw the world the same way I did, a canvas waiting to be filled. Our first project together was a campaign for a local brewery. Mark would have rolled his eyes at the assignment. Arts and crafts. He'd probably sneer, his nose buried in spreadsheets. But David, he was genuinely excited. We spent hours brainstorming, sketching, debating color palettes. We clicked. It started innocently enough. Working late to meet a deadline, sharing a pizza, laughing at inside jokes about the client's ridiculously specific requests. Then came the lunches. Grabbing a quick bite at the cafe across the street, talking about everything and nothing. About art, music, travel, things I hadn't discussed with Mark in ages. You seem brighter, Emily, my best friend, commented over our usual Thursday night wine. Work's been good, I said, carefully avoiding eye contact. More than just good, I think, she pressed, her eyebrows raised. Emily knew me too well. I sighed. There's this new guy, David. I trailed off, unsure how to explain the feeling. The lightness, the spark, the connection. And, Emily prompted, swirling her wine. And he's just different. He gets me in a way Mark doesn't anymore. Emily frowned. Sarah, be careful. You know how these things can go. I did know. That's what scared me. Mark didn't notice anything, or if he did, he didn't say anything. He was too busy chasing partner at his firm, too focused on numbers to see the growing chasm between us. He'd come home late, eat dinner in front of the TV, then disappear into his home office until the early hours. I felt invisible. One afternoon, David and I were reviewing proofs for the brewery campaign. We were huddled close, our shoulders almost touching, discussing the nuances of a particular shade of blue. His hand brushed mine, and a jolt of electricity shot through me. I pulled away quickly, flustered. Sorry, he mumbled, his cheeks flushed. It's okay, I said, my voice barely a whisper. But it wasn't okay. It was a turning point. The next day, I was scrolling through Mark's phone while he was in the shower. Yes, I know, it's wrong, but I couldn't help myself. That's when I saw it. A text message from someone named Jessica. Dinner tonight. I know a great Italian place. My stomach dropped. Jessica was a junior associate at Mark's firm. Young, ambitious, and undeniably attractive. The kind of woman Mark would probably describe as driven. I felt a strange mix of anger and relief. It was as if Mark's potential infidelity gave me permission to explore my own feelings for David. Justification, maybe. That evening, David asked if I wanted to grab a drink after work to celebrate the brewery campaign being finalized. I hesitated for a moment, then said yes. We went to a small bar near the office. The atmosphere was relaxed, the music low. We talked for hours, not just about work, but about our dreams, our fears, our regrets. You know, David said, leaning closer, I really enjoy spending time with you, Sarah. I enjoy spending time with you too, David, I replied, my heart pounding. His eyes met mine, and I knew what was coming. He reached across the table and took my hand. His touch was warm, comforting, and exciting. We sat there for a long time, just holding hands, the unspoken tension hanging in the air. It was late when I finally got home. Mark was already asleep on the couch, a half-eaten bowl of cereal on the coffee table. I felt a wave of guilt wash over me. A week later, our company held a conference in San Francisco. I was excited to go, mostly because I knew David would be there. Mark couldn't make it due to a crucial deadline at work. Have fun, he said, barely looking up from his laptop as I left for the airport. The conference was a blur of presentations, workshops, and networking events. But all I could think about was David. We managed to steal a few moments together, grabbing coffee between sessions, sharing a quick lunch. The tension between us was almost unbearable. That night was the conference gala. Everyone was dressed to the nines, the air buzzing with excitement. I saw David across the room, and our eyes met. He smiled, and I felt my heart skip a beat. We ended up sitting together at dinner. The wine flowed freely, and the conversation grew more intimate. David told me about his failed marriage, his dreams of opening his own design studio. I told him about my disillusionment with my own marriage, my feeling of being trapped in a life that no longer felt like my own. After dinner, We went to the hotel bar for one last drink. The bar was crowded, the music loud. We found a quiet corner and sat down. "Sarah," David said, his voice soft, "I need to tell you something." I knew what he was going to say. I'd been waiting for it, dreading it, wanting it all at the same time. He reached out and took my hand. "I'm falling for you," he said, his eyes searching mine. I didn't say anything. I just looked at him. He leaned in closer and I closed my eyes. His lips met mine and everything went blurry. The kiss was electric, passionate, everything I hadn't felt in years. We kissed for a long time, lost in the moment. When we finally broke apart, we were both breathless. "We shouldn't be doing this," David said, his voice shaky. "I know," I whispered. We went back to our separate hotel rooms. David had a single room and I was supposed to share with another colleague, but she canceled at the last minute. I had a double bed all to myself. I lay awake for hours, replaying the kiss in my mind, wrestling with my guilt and desire. The next morning, David seemed distant. He avoided eye contact, kept his conversations strictly professional. He pulled back. "Sarah," he said, "when we finally had a moment alone, I can't do this. I can't be responsible for breaking up your marriage. But what about us?" I asked, my voice pleading. "There is no us," he said, his face etched with regret. "I'm sorry." I flew home from San Francisco feeling numb. The guilt was crushing me. I had betrayed Mark, even if it was just a kiss, and I had lost David. Mark met me at the airport. He seemed preoccupied, distracted. "How was the conference?" he asked as we drove home. "It was fine," I said, my voice flat. Back at home, everything felt different. The house seemed smaller, colder. Mark seemed more distant than ever. I couldn't keep it in any longer. I had to tell him. "Mark," I said that evening after dinner, "we need to talk." He looked up from his laptop, his expression weary. "Can it wait, Sarah? I'm swamped." "No, it can't wait," I said, my voice trembling. I told him everything. About David, about the connection we shared, about the kiss. I left out the part about finding Jessica's messages. I wanted him to hear about my betrayal before I accused him of his own. He listened in silence, his face growing paler with each word. When I finished, he stood up and walked to the window, staring out into the darkness. "How could you?" he finally said, his voice barely a whisper. "How could you do this to me?" "I don't know," I said, tears streaming down my face. "I'm so sorry." He turned around and looked at me, his eyes filled with pain and anger. "I thought we were happy," he said. "I thought we had something special." "We did," I said. "But somewhere along the way, we lost it." "And you think kissing some guy at a conference is going to fix it?" he asked, his voice laced with sarcasm. "No," I said. "Maybe it will make you realize that we need to change something, that we can't keep living like this." He scoffed. "So this is all my fault?" "No, it's not about fault. It's about the fact that we've grown apart. We don't talk anymore. We don't connect. We're just going through the motions." He was silent for a moment, then he said, "I saw your colleague Tom today. He told me that you and Jessica have been going for lunch a lot recently. Is there something going on there?" "Mark," he flinched. That's ridiculous," he stammered. "Jessica is just a colleague. We've been working on a big project together." "Really?" I asked, raising my eyebrows because I saw the text messages. "The ones where you invited her to dinner." He looked away, shamefaced. "Okay, fine," he said. "We went out once. It was just dinner. Nothing happened. But you wanted it to, didn't you?" I asked, my voice shaking with anger. He didn't answer. The silence stretched between us, heavy and suffocating. I looked at Mark, at the man I'd promised to spend my life with, and for the first time, I wasn't sure if I even wanted to try.